All right, obviously anytime you can get a win, no matter how you get it, you have to be pleased with that. I was pleased, with a very young team, being able to fight through a lot of adversity and, persevere through times that didn't look very good, to be honest with you. Our kids, as they've done so many times since we've been here, they found a way to come back and win. And that's really good to see, in our young guys. I think that, again, that's kind of been instilled in this group, that you never look at the clock and the scoreboard until it says 0-0-0. So in that regard, we're thrilled that we came out with a win today, no question about it. I think obviously everybody that saw the game realizes that we did not play well as a football team. There's no excuses for that. Just didn't play well. I think it was very evident that our most experienced part of our football team was our special teams. I don't think there's any question that offensively and defensively we're a long way off of being able to win very many games right now. And so special teams wise, we have a lot of confidence, and they play with a little bit of a swagger, and rightly so. I think it was evident today in our kickoff return team. Even though it was Trey Mason back there, a young guy, we've got a lot of guys on there that have done it before, and we got some good yards on our kickoff returns. Our punt team was excellent. Cody Parkey was outstanding, the best that I've seen in a long time in kickoffs, which is a field position issue that you can't get enough of those. So that's a great situation with our kickoff team. Plus our coverage was great on our kickoff team. So still a little ways off on our punt return. But as you can see, as I said before, to win the game with the game on the line, we do an onside kick, which we work routinely, and it pretty much unfolded exactly the way you draw it up. So those are the things that I take from the game that are positive. We spent a lot of time on two-minute offense, coming down to the end of the game, managing the clock, and trying to win the game at the end. Spent a lot of time on that. I thought that was evident today. But if you remove those things from the game, if you look at us defensively, we looked like a defense that was extremely young against an offense that had a lot of people back, and we didn't play well. Period. No excuse, no nothing. I thought it was a very poor defensive performance. That's not acceptable here at Auburn. So I fully expect us to rectify that next week. Offensively, I thought the same for much of the game. I think, finally in the last quarter or so, we actually looked like an offense that is a college offense. Other than that, I did not. And that's how I feel about it. So we got a lot of work to do. Thrilled to have a win. Thrilled to come out on top. That was a good football team. They did a great job. They played probably a perfect game. Their game plan, they executed to a T. But again, my hat's off to our players and our coaches for finding a way to come back and win at the end, and that's what matters. So we got a lot of improvement to do, as everybody that saw the game knows, and that's what our aim is going to be before we start out in conference play next week.
Could you just talk about Barrett and the first start and doing what he did there in the fourth quarter?
Well, the fourth quarter was really it was really good to see. The game was on the line. We had to take 2 scores down there with 1 timeout on the board. We squandered away 2 timeouts earlier in the half. We went down with 1 timeout, very cognizant of making sure that we were going to manage the clock. He made some clutch throws, some guys made some clutch catches, and did some things with the ball in their hands after they catch, namely Trevante Stallworth and Terry McCaleb, when the game was on the line, which does not surprise me that it was those 2. But Barrett, Barrett I thought had his moments. He certainly is going to see the film and know that he can play much better. I thought there were some receivers open that we could have hit. And there were times he had some undue pressure. And that's an offensive line / back in protection issue. So overall, we won the game. Definitely not pleased with a lot of areas of our offense or our defense.
Is that stuff you can fix, Gene, or is it just they got to grow into it?
I think they got to grow up. I think that there's a lot of moving parts in your first game for young guys. And we'll get better. And again, it's going to be a journey for these guys. I think today at one point in the game we had counted somewhere between 20 and 22 new guys that were playing a pretty significant role on the field. which is a lot of people, but again, it's not an excuse.
Gene, talk about the onside kick, how that was executed. Was Cameron supposed to catch it?
Well, on the onside kicks, we always have two designated catchers, him being one of them. We don't know exactly where the ball's going to land, but we have kickers that work it relentlessly in practice. We work it several times a week, work it all the way through 2 days. We've been doing the same one for 3 years. And I don't know off the top of my head our onside kick track record right now, but it's pretty good.
Talk about Trevante Stallworth, the first start.
Really proud of Trevante. Again, I said earlier in the week he's a savvy player, finds a way to find holes in the defense. Tonight it was really good. Today it was really good to see him do something with the ball in his hand after the catch. And I think again with he's had to overcome a lot of things, injury-wise. And I couldn't be more proud of the way he's come on. And again, I thought he was a significant part in helping us win today.
Gene, you said you're a long way off from being able to win a lot of football games right now. Were you surprised at times today how far off you looked?
Obviously there were some times where I really felt like we could have played better. As a whole, I'm not going to measure the magnitude of how far off we are. I just know that performance today on offense and defense won't win us many games. So, again, as I just told our team, our biggest improvement's got to be between week 1, 2, and 2 and 3. And so, again, if we're going to win, football games in this league, there's going to have to be significant improvement by this time next week.
Gene, how much do you think the defense missed El Toro out there today not having him?
That was, we're going to be happy to get El Toro back next week, but that was not the issue.
Gene, was some of the problem on defense just getting people lined up in the right place for their formation?
Well, they were doing a lot of moving and shifting and trading, and we felt like they would do that. So some of it was that. Some of it is we probably weren't as physical at the point of attack as we needed to be. And, again, that's going to be young guys learning how to play out there. And it's going to have to be the older guys getting us lined up. So it was probably a multitude of issues for as poor as the defensive performance as that was.
Any other questions?
Coach, will you comment on Michael Dyer coming off the bench and giving the team the spark that he did?
Well, again, we feel like running back situation-wise right now, we've got the majority of our carries right now will be between Ontario, Michael Dyer, and Trey Mason. And so we're going to use them as we see fit and see, as we need. Don't read into who's a starter, who's not. That's not the deal. Our guys are going to get our carries when we see what the defense has given us, and we'll use those guys and utilize them at the right spots at the right times to do whatever it is that we need to get accomplished. And today Michael came in and gave us a spark. I think he had a couple of touchdowns in there, but I thought he was trying to run the ball, physical and downhill.
Was there any particular reason that Philip Luck's incursion wasn't looked at until late in the game? I mean, he did have any opportunities come his way?
No, that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes the opportunities present themselves briefly and then they get closed off. So he's in the game plan as he always is.
Gene, can you talk about Trey Mason's kickoff return? It seemed like that was key in the point where it could have gone really bad for you guys if he doesn't take that ball back, or at least give you guys an opportunity to score.
Well, there's no question about it. Again, going back to, one of the strengths of our football team is our special teams. Trey's shown an incredible amount of savvy on, kickoff return in the preseason. So he was really good at it at high school. He's got a lot of courage back there. He doesn't get rattled with a lot of different things. So, we felt like he would have a chance to break one. So, he's got a knack for that. And a lot of times at that position, that's what it takes.